Welcome to Heart video newsletter, where we endeavor to give you the heart-to-heart news in 30 minutes or less. I'm Dr. Michelle Petacola, and I am your moderator for this edition of the Heart-to-Heart newsletter. First, let's hear from our newly elected president of Heart2Heart, Jeannie Alford. Over to you, Jean.
Thank you, Michelle. Gratitude is our theme for this month, and I'm very, very grateful to all of our members of Toastmasters and Heart2Heart specifically, especially to those who stepped up to be part of the leadership team. That's the officers that you know, but it's also our shadows. These are the folks who have stepped in to learn about the officer role and to help out and to be on committees, as well as our mentors. These are the folks that have gone before, who've done the job and are on deck to help with advice and keeping us moving forward. This is a unique succession organization for Heart2Heart, and it helps that each of us, as we move into this new year that starts July 2021 for our new Toastmasters year, this helps us to actually move in without the hiccups of people not knowing what to do. Speaking of not knowing what to do, this weekend is our Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and most of our leadership team will be there. We also have makeup training that will be available. If you've ever had an interest in any of the roles that we have in Toastmasters, step in and be part of the makeup training if you didn't make it to TLI. That'll help prepare you to be part of the teams moving forward. And we're going to talk to you in this newsletter about the gift of skill building and being involved with all of these different teams. We have more details on that coming. We've packed this month's newsletter full of tips, such as how to be better on pathways and how to use Toastmasters experiences to help build skills and to help you with your business, and believe it or not, with your life. I don't know about you guys, but I've really grown in how I show up in the world because of the confidence that Toastmasters has helped me build. And I am also grateful for that. It's not that I just come here because I love talking to all you guys, but I've learned a lot and I've applied it, not only in my business, but as you can imagine, in my life. And during this past year, year and a half, where we were sheltered in place for so long, I've really appreciated how we've been able to use Zoom to keep in contact and to keep our relationships growing. So I'm grateful for that too. Now, we have been focusing on gratitude this month, and it will be taken on even more in the coming months because gratitude is a huge, huge concept that I think is important in everything we do in Heart2Heart, especially when we are aspiring to speak from the heart authentically. And as we are getting back into what I like to call the next level normal, it's more than the new normal, but the next level normal, we're finding ourselves being inundated with a lot of activities that we haven't had to do for the last year and a half. And I've heard from several of you that it's been feeling like the world is getting faster. So I'm going to suggest right here to remind me and to remind you that one of the themes we're going to be exploring soon will be balance, finding that balance between work, our avocations, our vocations, our activities, our families, everything that comes at us quickly. So we learn how to breathe through it and balance and make the decisions that are appropriate. So how we balance will be a future theme. And I'm going to ask if you have any great tips to please send them to me. That would be great, because then we can pull those in and use them in our newsletter and in our various activities with Toastmasters Heart2Heart. But for now, let me pass it on to Michelle.
Thank you, Jeannie. It's really great to hear you as the new president, and I found your words very inspiring. Now we're going to be hearing from Michael Ann about pathways and an opportunity to use it even better.
Thanks, Michelle, and hello, everybody. I am your Vice President of Pathways. This is a special role that District 57 created to support every club in having at least one person who is the point person for Pathways. And we start our Toastmasters year, July 1st. So our very first Pathways tune-up time is an orientation. Think of Pathways orientation as being really great if you're just coming in to Toastmasters. Pretty good if you're coming into Heart2Heart Toastmasters. And if you have expertise, I welcome our expert Toastmasters to come in and share their wisdom and their strength and what they've learned from Pathways themselves. You can look below and see that you can sign up to come to our Pathways tune-up time. Now, did you know that we have a number of paths in Pathways? And I've been asked to share what they are. I'm not going to say a whole lot, but I want to give you an idea of what's possible. We have 11 paths in Pathways. And so here they are in alphabetical order. There's dynamic leadership, effective coaching, engaging humor. That one sounds like fun. Innovative planning, leadership development, motivational strategies. I'm curious about that one. Are you? Persuasive influence, presentation mastery. Now I'm going to pause here. Presentation mastery is the path that more often than not, we encourage our new members in Toastmasters to enter. The focus is on speaking. It's a great way to enter the Pathways process. Then we have strategic relationships, team collaboration, and visionary communication. Each of us have different paths to building our businesses, to growing ourselves as persons, as folks who have a passion for changing the world. And Pathways is a great way to get started. So I welcome you to come to Pathways orientation. And back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michael Ann. That was very, very informative. And I hope that all our new members really take advantage of this opportunity to get acclimated to the new Pathways system. It does take some getting used to. Next, we have Kimmy, who is going to be doing a Did You Know tip, which I leave to her. Over to you, Kimmy.
Thank you, Michelle. I'd like to talk with you about how gratitude helps you to draw the perfect client to you. Gratitude is an energy, and how you feel impacts everything in your life. If your energy is down and depressed, one way to get it up and going is to practice gratitude. Now, let's say everything in your life is pretty chaotic. As Jeannie was saying, we're integrating some new things right now, going back to life in the world after having been under stay-at-home orders or working from home. And navigating all of those things that are coming at you can be a little overwhelming. So the practice of gratitude can allow you to focus in on little things. One of the things I like to do is take photographs of flowers when I'm out on my walk. I used to like to collect flowers, but now I just take pictures of them and leave them in my neighbor's yard. But focusing on something small and beautiful. Maybe it's a bird, maybe it's the clouds, maybe it's the sunshine, maybe it's your dog or your cat or your sweetheart's smile. Whatever that is, you can bring it into a narrow focus and allow that feeling to grow inside of you. When you have that, you'll start feeling better. And when you're feeling better, it's easier to attract clients to you. You become a magnet. They want to be with you. And one of the things I'm grateful for is Toastmasters, for the skill set that I'm building and developing through my roles and through my practicing speaking, through meeting new people, through the connections that I've met. I'm grateful for Toastmasters. That gratitude that I have for Toastmasters or for nature or for my life helps to magnetize the things I want. It grows that feeling and helps fill me up and makes people want to play with me. So how can you make people want to play with you? practice gratitude. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Kimmy. Those were really some great suggestions about how to become more of a client magnet through the use of gratitude. Of course, gratitude helps you in everything in your life. It's the number one super attractant power. Next, we have our fearless new leader, Jeannie Alford, back to tell you how you can support not only our video newsletter, but other ways of supporting the growth of Heart2Heart Toastmasters Club. Over to you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Michelle. This newsletter you get in 3 different ways. When we send it out, we send a PDF, we send a flip book that you can read on the internet or on your phone, and we also send it as a YouTube video. And we ask one simple thing, and that's that when you watch it, especially on YouTube, that you subscribe. It helps us when you subscribe. And if you give us a thumbs up or comment, that actually adds to the algorithm that YouTube uses to help us get a stronger following, and it would send it out to a broader audience. And that's one of the reasons we do this, is to attract a broader audience. As many of you know, we have an international Toastmasters team. We've got a member from Bahrain. And this week, when we had our Thursday meeting, we had a guest that came from Trinidad. It is so exciting to meet people from around the world and to have them part of our Toastmasters family. There are a few other things that we'd like you to do to help us out as well. We're getting more active with social media. And as many of you are, you have bigger followings than we do. We ask that you follow us on Twitter at Heart2Heart TOA1. It's the @ Heart2Heart TOA1. We'll have it actually in the digital newsletter for you. Send us your posts, tag us, we'll tag you back. When we support each other, we're able to extend the reach for both of us. We'd also ask you to like our Heart2Heart Toastmasters page on Facebook. Again, if you put up a post for us, tag us in Facebook, we'll send it out as well. And one more thing, watch this space for news about our new LinkedIn page. The VP of PR and his team will be working with me to add that soon. And we will be adding that LinkedIn networking capability as well. So please take a moment when you see this on YouTube and subscribe, comment if you feel like it, and give us a thumbs up. And also follow us on the other platforms. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Jeannie. Those are really excellent ideas. And it's really great if you can just step up and help us to do our work better and help our club to grow so that we can have a more vital and interesting and exciting club. Now, you are probably wondering what's going to come next. Well, we're actually going to go back to Jeannie Alford because she is going to be doing an interview with a very, very special Toastmaster from Heart2Heart. Back to you, Jeannie.
So today I have the pleasure to interview a very special Toastmaster, Cynthia Stott. And if you've been around at our last meeting, you'll understand why. The origins of this version of Heart2Heart really began with Cynthia. The whole idea of speaking authentically from the heart, and for all the work that we do to support our entrepreneurs, really started with this current version of Heart2Heart. We don't need to go into the history. We just need to know that this current version has a lot of great entrepreneurs who have learned to speak and have learned to give their message directly to their clients from the heart authentically. And that's a really great skill to have. I have to tell you though, Cynthia's been with Heart2Heart for about 11 years. I believe she's held every single position in leadership possible, and sometimes 3 or 4 at the same time. She literally built this club because when she started, whether she was a Toastmaster coach or not, when she started with the club, she reworked it and it became a distinguished President's Distinguished Club, and has done that quite often throughout the years. We in fact just had the chance to surprise her, and let me tell you, that took some work to surprise her with an appreciation award at our last meeting. because of the work that she's done. Now, if you don't know Cynthia, you really do need to meet her. So hopefully this is the beginning of a new relationship for you. But I will tell you that anybody who knows her has known that she used to go with a little interesting nickname, Miss Wiggles. And I'm going to let her tell us a little bit more about Miss Wiggles, because that's the first question. When she started with Toastmasters, she tells us that she was shy. Now, how many of you think that people know you're shy, but they go, oh, no, you're not? I can't even put the word shy next to Cynthia, but I know she's telling us the truth. Cynthia, welcome to 30 Minutes with Heart to Heart. Tell me what got Miss Wiggles into Toastmasters.
I wasn't shy. I was terrified.
Well, that's different.
I was terrified of public speaking. And in my speech class in college, they called me Miss Wiggles because my whole body shook and my lip did that quivery thing, when that quivers. Ugh, I hate that. And I could barely get my words out. I turned not only red, but purple. And one time on stage, I saw this black screen coming closer, 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 and I knew I was going to faint. And I said, breathe, Cynthia, breathe. Didn't faint.
Well, you do have a great tip that you give us quite often. That's when you freeze on stage, wiggle your toes. Is that where this came
Yes.
from?
No, it came much later, but it still has the same wiggle. When you're being Miss Wiggles, wiggle your toes. I like that. So I had a friend that was part of a scientific study, and they put her inside of a CT scan, then that medical scan that scans your brain. And they took a picture of her brain at normal. And then they showed her some scary pictures and took her picture of her brain when she was afraid. And then they had her wiggle her toes, and they saw her brain go back to normal.
Wow.
Yeah. It works. It's scientifically proven.
I tell people take a deep breath because it takes you from here, fight or flight, to here, logical. But I kind of repeat something my dad used to say as a joke: let your brain catch up to your mouth before you open.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I say take a deep breath. 3 is better. 1 is good, but 3 is better. And let your mind sink down to your feet. Now, don't look at your feet, but you let your mind sink down to your feet. Take another breath and wiggle your toes, and it will change everything. It will help you with anxiety and stage fright, and it will also help you if you forgot your words.
So, do you have Miss Wiggles anymore?
The last time I had Miss Wiggles was several years ago, and I knew I wasn't afraid, but my body was shaking like a leaf. And it was the first time I shared in front of a live audience, about 50 people. Your people are waiting for you. In fact, they're praying for you. You are the answer to their prayers. And when I said that, my whole body shook, my lip quivered, but I wasn't afraid. I was up in Lake Tahoe giving that presentation. And on my way home, I was talking to God. I was like, okay, God, what happened?
Yeah.
I know I'm not afraid, but I was shaking like a leaf. What was that about? You know what he told me?
You have no clue.
Call my friend Rebecca Hall Grider. And I said, but I'm still shaking, and people aren't going to work with me as a speaker coach if I'm shaking when I'm speaking. I'm almost like, ah. God did say something else. He said, you shook because you care about this message more than anything you've ever shared before.
Oh, really?
Really? I called her and she picked up. She was actually at a conference in Dallas, and she took a break and went to her hotel room and picked up the phone. And I said, you'll never, yes, you told me to call you. And so I told Rebecca what I told God and what God told me. And Rebecca goes, God's right. You care about this. more than anything. And that's a great thing. And I said, but no one is going to hire me if I'm shaking like a leaf and I'm telling them I'm going to help them give their speech. They don't want to shake like a leaf. She said, here's what you do. You stop in that moment and you validate what's going on. And you say, I'm touched in this moment because I care about this message more than I've ever cared about anything before. And I know the truth that your people are praying for you, and you are the answer to their prayers. And she said, even if you have tears streaming down your face, if you pause and you let them know what's going on, you will endear them more than anything.
Wow. We know very true, especially when you're speaking authentically, because
Yeah.
the emotions bubble up, even though you want to be in control. When that happens, I always kind of chuckle and go and say, you know how to make God laugh. You tell him your plans because something will happen. And sometimes the emotions bubble up, even though you're on stage, and you need to acknowledge them. Be aware that
Yeah.
somebody out there needs to see that.
Yeah. And just say what's true. You're shaking like a leaf, or you're crying, or you're terrified. Just tell them and tell them why.
Is this a genesis for the speaking authentically kind of focus that you brought to Heart to Heart?
Yes. And I've deepened with my new program, 4 Elements of a World Champion Speech, which is the 4 elements are inspiration and humor and a twist, something different, unique, and vulnerability. And that underlies both inspiration and humor and even your twist.
Mm. And it's so hard to allow yourself to be vulnerable in front of a group that you don't know. And that's when we're speaking on stage or speaking in public, it's a group you don't know usually. So doing that in a Toastmasters environment gives you a chance to do my favorite word, practice. I would tell people when I was doing PR that I could embody the message, that when I learned it so well that I could train the executives, it's like I walked the message. So much so that an executive trying to knock me off my center actually said to me, well, that sounds like a very PR response. And the global director of PR looked at him straight in the eye and went, well, duh, because that's what I was inspired to say, which then got everybody laughing, and he stopped trying to knock me off my center because, I was teaching him PR. So, what is it about speaking authentically that's different than just speaking to you?
Oh, it's worlds apart. It's the difference that you experience from a pianist that is technically correct and gets all the notes correct, and the pianist that can play the same song, but the music flows back and forth between their fingers and the piano, and there is no separation from the pianist and the music. And in when you are flowing with your message, there is no difference between you and your message.
Well, that's brilliant. Our time is up. How do people get in touch with you if they want to learn about these inspirational speeches and the 4 pillars? And
They can email me at Cynthia Stott, and it's STOTT, DTM, because that's what I earned, DTM, after 13 years at gmail.com.
Cynthia, it's been a pleasure working with you all these years, and I hope we have a lot of years to come. And back to you, Michelle.
Wow. I just think that was an amazing interview, and what an amazing person. Those are the kind of people that Heart to Heart really collects or attracts. So we actually are a really interesting place to get involved. And the more you get involved, the more visibility you have. I mean, look at how much Jeannie's getting visibility today. Next, we're going to hear from Gary McKinsey, and he's going to share another Did You Know about skill building. Over to you, Gary.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, folks. We sent out a poll asking about what you like and need from our Heart to Heart newsletter. Thank everyone who has answered the poll. However, we're still looking for more input. Also, to prepare you for the next poll, think about the skills you'd like to build. Let us know. We'll be coming up with a skill building poll soon. And remember, check your emails. We are here to serve each other so we get the most out of Toastmasters. Please keep us in the loop. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Gary, for encouraging our members to take advantage and to give us information in the poll so that we can serve each other, that you can take a better advantage of the opportunities to grow and to develop your skills in Heart to Heart Toastmasters Club. Next, we are going to hear from one of our newer members, Deb Peretz. Deb is going to tell us or share with us how she was able to use Toastmasters to help prepare for giving a eulogy. Deb, I'm really interested in hearing this story. Over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Life is full of unexpected challenges. Sure, you'd like to be prepared, but not everything comes with advanced warning. Sometimes you just have to play the cards that you're dealt. This happened to me a couple of months ago. My aunt called and said that my uncle was ill and was in the hospital. A couple weeks later, she called again to let me know that we needed to prepare for the worst. So we scrambled to make it to New York so that I could see him before he passed. He was my mother's only brother, and he had been a part of my life since the very beginning. It was a hectic and stressful time. I was worried about my mother, wasn't well enough to go. I was worried about my aunt dealing with all these difficult decisions about his care. And I worried about the logistics of, making everything happen so we can get to New York in time and then to get back for the funeral. It was the day before the funeral that my aunt asked me if I would speak. I'd never given a eulogy before. I'd only been to a handful of funerals. I didn't have the first idea of what to say and what was expected, what was appropriate. And the thought of it sent my stress levels skyrocketing and my stomach churning. And then I thought of Toastmasters. I knew that somewhere Toastmasters had to have some guidance on how to write a eulogy. And in an amazing coincidence, the next project in my pathways just happened to include an elective on social speeches. And one of the social speeches was a eulogy. So there I was, 11 o'clock the night before the funeral, doing my pathways homework, applying it to my real life. I was still grieving, but I was no longer stressed because I knew that with the Toastmasters guidance, I could write a eulogy that would be appropriate. The eulogy was warmly received by family and friends, and I was so proud to be able to contribute something special in memory of my dear Uncle Fred. You never know what life is going to throw at you, but it does make it easier when you've got support. I'm very grateful to Toastmasters and Heart to Heart for helping me out. Back to you, Michelle Pedicola.
Thank you, Deb. That was quite a story. See how amazing it is to be a Toastmaster, to prepare yourself for those interesting social expectations and requirements that we run across in the course of our lives. Next, we have me. Did you know, talking about how Toastmasters speeches can actually help you grow. There are so many ways in which Toastmasters can help you grow. One of them, of course, is to step into your leadership. That has been huge. But did you know that when you give a speech and you really put your heart and soul in it, you find that you actually evolve and change? One of the things that I've noticed is when I tell stories, like I told a story about my mentorship, or I talked about negotiating change, that I actually started to realize that the story I'd been keeping in my head was not the story I gave in my speech. And it actually changed my story and up-leveled me, made me feel more empowered. When you tell your story to others and they receive it, it has a huge impact on you. Try it out. Go the extra step and really utilize those speeches to grow yourself and grow into who you truly are authentically. And back to you, Michelle. Wow, Michelle, that was such a great share, a great what do you know that really encourages our members to go the extra step and really utilize your speeches to grow yourself. Next, we have another what do you know from our fearless pathways expert, Michael Ann Conley. Over to you, Michael Ann.
Oh, I am still laughing. That was hysterical, Michelle. That was so terrific. You know, one thing I'm really grateful for in Heart to Heart is we work and we play, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So thanks, Michelle, for that good laugh. Did you know that you might, over the course of this year, get a phone call from one of your Heart to Heart leaders? We're going to be reaching out by phone to check in. We want to connect and to find out more about you. It's a business that you have, but it's personal. And so we want to be more connected, and we're going to be reaching out. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michael Ann. I'm looking forward to getting a phone call from you. I think that's one of the special aspects of Heart to Heart, that we really connect from the heart. Next, we have Karina, who is our Shadow VP of Education, one of our resident astrologers, who is going to be telling us more about what's going on in the Toastmasters world. Over to you, Karina.
Hi, Toastmasters. I have some announcements and events. So the first is Toastmaster Leadership Institute trainings, opportunity for everyone to get amazing training by being a host or a mentor in one of our rooms. This is happening August 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. Roles are available on both our Saturday, August 7th and Thursday, August 19th, club meetings. All roles are available and waiting for you. We appreciate all those that help. International Toastmasters Convention, end of August, the 23rd to the 28th, and that's virtually. So what do we got going on for celebrations and announcements? First of all, I would like to say happy birthday to all the July babies. We're looking at the Cancers and Leos. It is now Leo season, the day that I'm recording this. Leo sun at 0 degrees, and Venus just moved into critical Virgo. So happy birthday to all the Leos. I'm a Leo. We just exited Cancer season, which was transformational and dynamic. The new moon in Cancer on July 9th was the first new moon since the eclipse cycle, our first eclipse cycle of 2021. So it brought with it a new year, new energy for all those Cancers and wherever Cancer is in your natal birth chart. If you don't know, you can contact me, lucidlivingmovement.com. Okay, so Leos had an exciting new beginning also with Mars and Venus conjunct in Leo. That happened on July 13th, which will not happen again until 2047. And the last time it happened was September 1st, 2015. So if you can think back that far, what was going on for you in your life, what area? You can expect a wrap up from that time and a reset of energy between the masculine and the feminine energies, including the twin flame partnerships. And last but not least is the level and pathway completion. So let's give it up for Michelle Pedicolis, which completed dynamic leadership pathways. And let's give it up for Michael Ann Conley, which is completed the level 4 presentation mastery. So let's pass it back to Michelle. But first, I'd like to congratulate again our famous award-winning newsletter team. We're excited to keep our momentum and are looking forward to your response to our polls. Back to Michelle.
Thank you, Karina. These are really, really important pieces of information about what's coming up next in the Toastmasters world and how you can get involved in our own club events. Next, we have another Did You Know from our very own VP of Public Relations, Gary McKinsey.
Did you know grabbing roles in Toastmasters will help you grow your visibility in your business? Be an evaluator. Learn the benefits of gently critiquing others. Become a mentor, leveling up. Be a positive Toastmasters role model. Taking these actions will help you increase your visibility within Toastmasters and within your business. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Gary, for reminding our club members about the opportunities for visibility. And remember, if you get involved in this video newsletter, you get some really great visibility. And I want to celebrate your joining us today for our newsletter. I hope you have gotten a good idea about what is going on in Heart2Heart right now. Remember, we're a specialty club that enables you to speak and give your message from the heart. We meet twice a month. The first Saturday of the month from 4 to 6 p.m. But come early, like 3:30, because we have some great networking beforehand. The second time we meet is on the third Thursday of the month in the morning. And this is a shorter meeting and it's very, very impactful. We had a great time the last time we met. And that meets from 10 to 11 a.m. on that third Thursday. As I said, we help you to focus on giving your message from the heart. We're always exploring ways to help our members to expand their visibility, like coming on this newsletter. Thank you for this month's newsletter team. In particular, I want to thank Jean Alford, Kimmy Avery, Gary McKenzie, Cynthia Stott, Deb Peretz, and Karina Aragon. And thank me. Oh, and Michael Ann. That's it for today. Remember to speak your truth from the heart. Bye for now.